All right, guys, welcome to the Carl Jackson Show. There's so much news, I don't even know where to begin. The left, it seems like they're about ready to kick Chuck Schumer out of the party. He's got a book tour that he was supposed to be going on talking about anti-Semitism, but it seems like anti-Semitism is brewing in his party. I'm not exactly sure that that's what it is, but the left is livid. At least the House Democrats are livid that Chuck Schumer caved to the government funding deal last weekend. But frankly, let's be honest, there's a strain of anti-Semitism that does exist within the Democrat Party. So I wouldn't doubt that this is their opportunity. They don't want him to be the leader for whatever reason. And it looks like they are going to try their best to push Chuck Schumer out. That's just some of the news that's happening. But some of the larger, some of the bigger, and actually, it's hard to say. Virtually every day. I mean, I will go into Prager's show or even prepping for this podcast, and it's like, oh my goodness, I need to talk about it. It's like you can't. You have to decide what you want to talk about, and it's becoming increasingly difficult. But let me just share with you some of the news that obviously you know about, but I'll give you my spin on things. But Trump is finally taken. He's not finally, but Trump is taking the fight to the Houthis. I want to talk about that. As you guys know, Trump will be meeting with Putin as of Tuesday. So we'll wait and see what comes of that. Putin is going to want some land. There is a large nuclear facility that in an area of Ukraine that the Russians conquered, I believe, as early as 2022, maybe May of 2022. So it seems like that is going to be part of the conversation, and we'll have to wait and see where it goes. But I actually agree with Zelensky. I know that's not popular to say in conservative circles, but I do believe that Putin is trying to do his best to stall for a ceasefire. But I don't think Trump is going to have any of that. Thank God. The astronauts are going to be headed back to Earth as a result of Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Donald Trump giving Elon Musk the go-ahead. These astronauts were stranded for 9 months in space because the Democrat Party threw a hissy fit. Let me get to a couple of stories that I think are very important. Actually, all of the stories are very important, but as they relate to Trump, some of the stories that I want to talk about this auto pen situation because I do believe that it is a big deal. And I'm not sure that the courts will do anything about it, frankly, but I think Trump is going to press the issue where the courts will have to do something about this. Also, the reason why over the weekend the Trump administration ignored, if that's the term that you want to use or the word that you want to use, the order from this activist Democrat judge. We'll get into that. That was a huge deal. And I'm so glad that Trump did it because I think these federal district judges that are basically Democratic activists that are on the bench that aren't there to try to decide law, but clearly there to try to disrupt the Trump administration. These people have to be stopped. I have interviewed Zach Smith of the Heritage Foundation, constitutional attorney, on this issue before. And these judges are exceeding their authority. And it's simply because they want to stop Trump. These are the same D.C. circuit judges or federal district judges that have been involved in numerous other incidents or court hearings, court filings when it comes to the Trump administration. And their intent is to get Trump, is to stop Trump, is to buy time for Democrats to try and win back the House in 2026. Now, let me get to this story. If I can find it. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, here it is. This was over the weekend. The New York Post pinned a column, and then I saw it on Sean Hannity's website, believe it or not. But shock report: Biden sources suspect key aide may have abused the auto pen. Culture was to not ask questions. So this is a huge story in my opinion, obviously. Now, listen, let's be fair. Other presidents have used auto pen in certain situations. Trump has, Obama has, George W. Bush has. But at some point, George W. Bush was like, listen, if you're signing for certain things, he got to a point where he didn't want to use auto pen because he thought it was unconstitutional. Trump is starting to challenge that. Oh, and by the way, we're learning that Trump Secret Service for Ashley Biden and Hunter Biden, as Hunter Biden takes a rendezvous to South Africa. Bye bye, that's gone. Good. I mean, that guy lives a crazy life, and honestly, Secret Service should not be getting into any type of trouble with that guy or having to cover for Hunter Biden. So I'm glad that's gone. Hopefully this guy will eventually get his life straight. But here's a shock report, and I think this is a big deal. Here's a summary from the New York Post. An aide to former President Joe Biden may have exceeded their authority by liberally using an auto pen to sign official documents. This, according to two former White House sources. Now, I know you guys have heard the story, but it gets really sorted here. A document that was obtained by the Post outlines a narrow set of circumstances in which Trump's signature can be affixed to documents following controversy last week that was kicked off by the Heritage Foundation's analysis of Biden's signature on various records, and that includes last-minute pardons. Now, you guys may or may not remember this, but Byron York wrote about this, and if you were like me, during the lame duck session, if you will, when after the election, after Trump had won the election, and then Republicans had won the Senate and kept control of the House, those were some of the longest couple of months between the election day and the inaugural day or inauguration day were some of the longest months because I felt like we were being tortured just as much as we were during Biden's entire presidency. It's like the Biden administration were doing, even though they had been rejected, it wasn't just Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris had basically adopted Joe Biden's policies, right? They just thought, okay, well, let's put on a prettier face and let's a minority woman and surely the voters will go for her. Well, it turns out they were completely wrong because people rejected. She was a bad candidate, but beyond that, she still represented bad policies. Nonetheless, after they lost, and I say they intentionally, the Biden administration was working feverishly still, allowing illegal aliens to come into the country, dishing out money all over the place. It was absolutely it was just insane. Still hindering oil companies when it came to drilling. It was just insane what we were watching. I'm like, what are you doing? You guys lost the election. It was obvious. Demanding the killing of hundreds of millions of chicken, or 100 million chickens plus, because of the bird flu, when obviously not that many chickens needed to be killed. There was no immunity. It wasn't so widespread that it could not be contained. We spoke to Brianna Sagdahl of beefnews.org about that particular situation. And as a result, high prices of eggs, which thank God are coming down now. So is gas. Praise God. But nonetheless, I believe this was all done intentionally. Now, I think we're starting to understand why. A small group of officials under both Biden and Trump have been delegated the power to get documents signed, quote unquote, robotically. But 82-year-old Biden's perceived cognitive decline sparked debate about whether some aides may have assumed his wishes in his final stretch as commander in chief. And I do believe this is the case. Guys, let me ask you this question. Where's Joe Biden? Where's Joe Biden? Do you really believe that a president that is literally getting his priorities, his legacy, I mean, just unraveled within a couple of months? I mean, obviously, there's the Inflation Reduction Act. There's going to be the Republicans are going to have to do a little more work, obviously, in this budget deal to get get rid of some of the Biden policies. But I mean, executive orders. I mean, Trump has been tearing them up left and right, implementing his own that are much better for the country. And Biden has had nothing to say about that. What does that say about Biden? Guys, he was never there. He was never there. And I'm not sure where he is now. He's probably sitting in the room by himself, eating ice cream, watching old movies, cartoons, or something. Who knows? Who knows? But the guy was clearly out of it. One Biden White House source told the Post they suspect that a key aide to the then president may have had unilateral determinations on what to auto sign. The Post is not publishing that staffer's name due to the lack of concrete evidence and refutations by other colleagues. The Biden aide, who did not respond to requests for comment, would frequently make mention of what quote unquote, the boss wanted. The source said compatriots would have, quote unquote, no idea if it was true because the internal culture was to not ask questions. So this aide could say the boss wanted this. And so they would auto sign, use the auto pen for an executive order, and no one would ask any questions. Why? One aide says this in anonymity: I feared no one as much as I feared that staffer. To me, the staffer basically was the president. No one ever questioned the staffer, period, quote unquote. What is this who is this staffer? What is this staffer responsible for? Is this staffer responsible for the pardons? What else is this staffer responsible for? What else did this staffer use AutoPen for? Listen, I believe whoever this staffer is, if indeed this is found to be true, this staffer should be jailed. This staffer should be prosecuted, and everything that was signed by AutoPen where this staffer was involved should be null and void. Now, listen, this is going to have to go to the courts. I suspect that it will, but I am so thankful that Trump is asking the question and making the case. This should be voided. Hey guys, Carl Jackson here for MyPillow, and MyPillow is excited to announce that they are extending the mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. This is your chance to grab incredible deals on some of MyPillow's most popular and newly released items. For example, save $40 on the new spring MyPillow bed sheets available in any size and color. These luxurious sheets are designed for maximum comfort and breathability, perfect for a great night's sleep. Looking for a meaningful gift? Save 30% on the brand new Mike crosses, inspired by the one Mike has worn every day for over 20 years. These beautifully crafted crosses come in both men's and women's designs and are proudly made in the USA. Get the 6-piece bath or kitchen towel sets for just $29.98. Initial quantities are extremely limited, so don't wait. And don't forget the best-selling standard MyPillow, now just $14.98. Plus, orders over $75 receive free shipping. Go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code Carl, or call 800-858-0263. Go there now. Order today. Hey, Carl Jackson here for Fast Growing Trees. Did you know Fast Growing Trees is the biggest online nursery in the U.S. with thousands of different plants and over 2 million happy customers? They have all the plants your yard needs, like fruit trees, privacy trees, flowering trees, shrubs, and much more. Whatever plants you're interested in, Fast Growing Trees has you covered. Find the perfect fit for your climate and space. Fast Growing Trees makes it easy to get your dream yard. Order online and get your plants delivered directly to your door in just a few days without ever leaving home. Their Alive and Thrive guarantee ensures your plants arrive happy and healthy. Plus, get support from trained plant experts on call to help you plan your landscape, choose the right plants, and learn how to care for them. This is a great deal, guys. I can tell you as a landscaper myself that owns a landscaping business, this is the type of business that I would love. Have the plants delivered directly to my door. I don't have to waste time. So I know as a customer, this would benefit you greatly. It would help you save lots of money, lots of time. You can X out the middleman like me. All right. So listen, here's the deal. This spring, they have the best deals for your yard, up to half off on select plants and other deals. And listeners to our show get 15% off their first purchase when using the code Carl at checkout. That's an additional 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code Carl at checkout. Fastgrowingtrees.com, promo code Carl, C-A-R-L. I don't spell it like the communists. Now's the perfect time to plant. Use Carl to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. President Trump is taking the fight to our enemies, and that includes the Houthi rebels. That includes a bunch of criminal illegal aliens, rapists, and murderers that invaded our country, that the Biden administration, frankly, allowed into our country. And that also includes, I believe, judges that are trying to intentionally undermine the rule of law inside of the United States, a bunch of left-wing radicals. And I do believe that they're an enemy of the United States. I know that may seem like a harsh word, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that's the case. I don't believe that these people have any intention of following the rule of law. I'm not sure that they could quote or cite different parts of the Constitution, or if they even care. And yes, I do mean that. I hope that I'm wrong. But I do mean that. But I want to take you to a couple of videos. First off, let's start with this. This was big news, made big news earlier on, and that is Trump got rid of a bunch of gangbangers right here inside of the United States, affiliated with Tren de Aragua, and a few that were affiliated with MS-13. I want to take you to a video of, how do you say that again? SACOT, which means Terrorism Confinement Center. SACOT. All right, so this is in El Salvador. The president there, Bukele, said, listen, we'll take some of your criminal illegal aliens, the harshest of the harsh, and we'll put them in this particular center. I want you to watch this video, cut number 6, please, Gabe. Shortly, I'll tell you what transpired before this happened with this activist judge. This is a real production. All right, let's hold it there for the sake of time. Listen, guys, this is the Terrorism Confinement Center in El Salvador. El Salvador was just rife with crime. This president, Bukele is his name. He's gotten it under control. He's not playing when it comes to the criminal, the most harshest element when it comes to crime in El Salvador. And Trump took them up on his offer. These guys could have returned to Venezuela. Instead, they're in El Salvador now inside of his prison. And the big story earlier in the week was that this radical judge literally tried to reverse Trump's order to have them sent there and have them returned to the United States. Why would a judge, a man that supposedly loves or upholds the rule of law in America, why would he want these people that invaded our country, that happen to be murderers and rapists, why would he want them turned around and back to the United States? Hat tip, red state. The reason why the White House ignored judge's order requiring plane load of gangbangers to turn around. So you had, while the flight was in air, Trump had used this 1798 Alien Enemies Act against members of the violent Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, as well as a few members of the MS-13 gang. and they were all taken to El Salvador to this prison, like you saw. While the flight was in air, Chief U.S. District Judge James Boasberg ordered a temporary restraining order preventing the deportation of any Venezuelans, and he also demanded that the plane turn around and return the gangsters to the USA. Pam Bundy, by that time, had already appealed the ruling pretty much as quickly as it came out. Trump ignored the order, and I'm glad that he did. This is just an activist judge. And it is absolutely scandalous. White House advisor Stephen Miller reportedly said that the order did not apply because the flight was already over international waters by the time this judge issued this ruling. But keep in mind, this is a U.S. district judge. This is a federal district judge. I'm using that word intentionally. How this guy thinks he has the authority to stop the executive branch from expelling criminals, illegal aliens out of our country is absolutely insane to me. Apparently, by using this Alien Act, they don't have to go to court. They don't have to deal with any of that stuff. Criminals that broke into our country, we can go ahead and ship them out. But this guy wanted there to be a fair hearing for these people, and it didn't happen. Let me just brief you on the timeline. The president signed the executive order invoking the Alien Enemies Act on Friday night, but intentionally did not advertise it. But by Saturday morning, it had leaked. And officials said, prompting a scramble to get the planes in the air, and they did just that. So at 2:31 p.m. last Saturday, an immigration activist, listen to this, who tracks deportation flights, posted on X that two highly unusual ICE flights were departing from Texas to El Salvador, which had agreed to accept Venezuelan gang members deported from the U.S. So just hours later, during a court hearing, filed by the ACLU, a court hearing that was filed by the ACLU, Boasberg ordered a halt to those deportations and said any flight should be turned around midair. He said, quote, "This is something that you need to make sure is complied with immediately," close quote. At that point, about 6:51, both flights were off the Yucatan Peninsula, according to the flight pass posted on X. So they were over international waters. They didn't need to turn around. But frankly, I think they should have defied it anyway, because it is time to force the issue to the Supreme Court. And one can only hope that John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett have the courage and the stomach to stop this judicial tyranny, is what I believe it is. This judicial activism where these district judges believe that they can stop and implement executive power. It's insane. Just like they wanted U.S. aid money just a couple of weeks ago to go out, and $1.9 billion was ordered. I guess John Roberts sat it out or said it could go ahead. Amy Coney Barrett sided with the liberals on the court. $1.9 million wasted to go out to some federal, NGO or something like that. It's absolutely insane. This is what these district judges are doing. But I want you to notice the activists told the lawyers, who told the judge. All of them are the Democrat Party. The mainstream media, legacy media, propaganda media, elite media, whatever you want to call it, the ACLU, the activists, the journalists, and the judges are all in the Democrat Party, are working to resist Trump. So keep that in mind. I am so glad that Trump took these criminals out of the United States where they won't hurt Americans. Let me take you to video clip number 1. I don't know that we have time for all of it, but Trump has also taken the fight to the Houthi rebels. Let's roll this. Clip number 1, por favor, Gabe.
Well, first of all, the problem here is that this is a very important shipping lane, and in the last year and a half, the last 18 months, the Houthis have struck or attacked 174 naval vessels of the United States, attacking the U.S. Navy directly 174 times, and 145 times they've attacked commercial shipping. So we basically have a band of pirates, with guided precision anti-ship weaponry, and exacting a toll system in one of the most important shipping lanes in the world. That's just not sustainable. We are not going to have these people controlling which ships can go through and which ones cannot. And so your question is, how long will this go on? It will go on until they no longer have the capability to do that.
Well, what does U.S. intelligence tell us at this point? Because the U.S. had been conducting strikes for some time, but has not stopped the Houthis. So
No.
What's going to be different right now? Do you have more fidelity in the intelligence that would make this more successful?
Well, those strikes were retaliation strikes. So they launched one missile, we hit the missile launcher, or we sent something to do it. This is not a message. This is not a one-off. This is an effort to deny them the ability to continue to constrict and control shipping. And it's just not going to happen. We're not going to have these guys, these people with weapons able to tell us where our ships can go.
Okay, so and later, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth was also on Maria Bartiromo, and they made it emphatically clear. You heard what Secretary of State Marco Rubio said. It was kind of tit for tat with the Biden administration. They used some type of missile launcher. Biden shoots down the missile launcher. Trump isn't playing that. He's killing, just like he just killed the ISIS leader. He's killing them. He's destroying their property. He's destroying their weaponry. It's a whole different ballgame with this administration.